My #1 most requested makeup look is something very soft and natural and demure. So today, that's what I'm showing you. Soft, natural, demure makeup that's still a made-up look for a mature skin. Now, I'm gonna tell you, the only skin I'm used to working with is mine. So the maturity level that I'm used to working with is, well, mine. So not terribly. This is 54-year-old skin. I don't know how to work with 65-year-old skin, and when I get there, I'll tell you. But today, this is all I know. So you are going to need to adjust for your own skin type. We all have very different skin types. So take everything I'm using and modify it to your own needs and tastes as your own experiences have shown you. I just recently had an IPL, so my skin right now is about the best it's ever looked. I'm really enjoying that sheerness, and I think for a lot of women over 50, we are watching these videos where we're seeing young women really cake on a lot of makeup, which looks beautiful on camera. But once you step out into the hard, cold light of day, it's a little scary looking. So this is really designed to be very, very soft and natural while still giving you a made-up look. Okay, Monique, stop talking. The most important thing you can do for your skin is to wear sunscreen, particularly a non-chemical sunscreen. Now, a lot of us will choose to use our sunscreens in our foundations. When I want a heavier foundation, I actually love the IT Cosmetics CC cream, but I want a little lighter than that today. So I'm going to use my Color Science sunscreen, which is literally just a zinc oxide sunscreen, and I'm going to add just a smidge of this and blend them together on my stainless steel palette. You can also use the back of your hand to achieve a sheer finish that has just a little tint to it. I've tried so many foundations, you guys, and I find that there's nothing perfect. You know, sometimes they just seem too heavy and sometimes not heavy enough. And so I find that mixing my own foundations really gets me where I need to go. So don't be afraid to experiment with what you have and blend them together to get to your perfect foundation. So I've got a good chunk of sunscreen there, and I'm using the light medium shade, and just that much. Yeah, I'm a little shaky today. I had coffee and really just a handful of cashews, so after this I think lunch is in order. I'm just going to use the back end of my applicator brush to blend the two together. And then since I already have a bunch here, I'm just going to smear that on my face in a way that no professional makeup artist would tell you to. I do have my makeup mirror right here. So little pimple popped up this morning. I find for applying my foundation, rather than using a big foundation brush, I use a small concealer brush from Sigma. This is their soft blend concealer brush. And I feel like working in small areas, very sheer, I get a much better coverage. You can see how sheer and light that makeup is. It's not really camouflaging the skin. It doesn't look a whole lot different. You're still seeing some of the natural ruddiness come through, and I like that. I'm just going to use my small concealer brush and tap a little bit more on top of that blemish. I realize I'm not going to hide it completely. A lot of times what I'll do if I have a blemish in this area, that becomes a beauty mark. Why not play and have fun for a day? I do already have sunscreen on my chest and my neck, but since I found that I had a lot of sun damage right in here, particularly from driving, I'm just going to carry that a little bit down to give it a little more protection. For my under eyes today, I'm going to go with It Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye, which has a lot of orange in it so that it really counters the blue underneath. I am using the medium shade. I find that if I go too light, suddenly I do have sort of that, that raccoon all white around the eyes, and I can sort of lean that way, so I'm trying to show self-control. Our eyes are very active. We're always smiling and laughing and squeezing them and making expressions and making wrinkles. Even with Botox, which I don't do around my eyes, but I know a lot of you do, and that's fine, to each his own. Because we have so much movement there, concealer always gets in the wrinkles, and there's just not much you can do about it other than I really don't put any concealer around the wrinkled area. I try to have the least amount of makeup around the wrinkles, and I just feather that out a little bit. So I'm really concentrating the concealer right around the dark part, but just slightly feathering it out. So I have very little concealer in the wrinkles. And throughout the day, I will sort of smooth it out with my ring finger, just sort of pat it out. I recommend a cream blush for most mature women. It just blends in nice. So many of us get that really dry, powdery look, and that is a great way to avoid it. I am using a creamy, powdery blush today, if my fingers will work. There we go. So I am going to apply, because I am using a powdery blush, I'm going to do a little powder first. Now, a word about powder. This is again one of those things where you have to assess your individual needs. I need powder. I tend to be oily. You may not. You may need no powder. If you have dry skin, I would recommend skipping the powder or just use the teensiest bit and use mostly products. Use a blush that you can apply with your fingertip. I only have a couple of cream blushes. One is a very dark red, and I'm wanting a softer look today, so I'm going to skip that. I'm doing a powdered blush, so I'm going to do just a little bit of powder just to set this foundation. Forgive my packaging that is ratty and ancient, but I've had this same container for over 2 years. I love the RCMA No Color Powder. It is my favorite, and a little goes a long way, and it lasts forever. I'm using a puff that I got at a beauty supply. I think the brand is, Brandon. Sometimes I apply my powder with a brush. Sometimes I just use a puff. Put a little on the puff, rub it together. Use the back of my hand to tap it on so I don't have too much powder on the puff. And then just tap it on. Very little powder. We don't want to look like those little old ladies at church when we were growing up. The blush that I am using today is RMS Beauty, and it is Lost Angel. Just a very soft, peachy pink. It does have a little bit of a highlight to it, so I'm not going to be doing any highlighting today, just keeping it very simple. I have learned that on me, blush fades quickly, so often when I first put it on, it's like, yikes, clown face. But watch, by the end, you may have found the opposite problem, because again, we are all unique, we are all individuals. I want to get a little lip color on. I know most people put lipstick on last, but to me, it just kind of looks prettier when I look in the mirror to see my lips looking finished. It's my own personal pet peeve. Almost everybody in the world does their lipstick last. I like to do it early on in the makeup. We're keeping everything really, really soft pink today. I'm going with a very sort of natural. So sticking with your own natural colors, but maybe a lighter version of it. So look at your natural lip color or your nipple color, which I'm not gonna, but if you can match your nipple color, that's your pink. That's exactly the natural pink you're looking for. So a little lighter than your lip, or, some more intimate areas. It does make shopping in department stores awkward though. I am using a lip pencil. This is my Milani lip pencil, which I got at the drugstore. It is nude, number 8 nude, and it is in need of a sharpening. Love this sharpener. I got this sharpener from Rodial, and it is terrific because it's got both the small opening and the large opening, but it is contained, so it keeps all your little wooden swirled off bits, your sharpening bits, I don't know what you call those, but those swirls, it keeps them all contained and then you can empty it out. Really love this for traveling. I love to overdraw my lips, but it's, a fine line between looking clownish. So if you do overdraw, don't overdraw in a dark tone. Keep it in the nude tone. Keep it pretty much your lip color. And if you overdraw here, try to bring it all the way in to the corners. So you don't want to have it overdrawn at the corners. You want to bring it back in. Everybody's lip shape is a little different, so you know your lip shape. If you're in your 50s, you've been drawing on those lips for 50 years, I always start right in the middle of my lip line because I love an exaggerated Cupid's bow. So you can see just a little bit outside of the lip line, but not hugely so. Now, if I'm going out at night and I'm doing a dramatic look, yeah, I'll take that a little bit further. I'm a firm believer in filling in with the pencil, not solidly. I usually smudge it down a little bit with my finger because I don't want any harsh lines. And you don't ever want that lip line to be like, oh, you used a much darker outside than the inside. Keep it subtle, blending. Not sure what I'm going to do for my top coat on my lips, but at least I feel like I have something there. Again, we're going to go very soft on the eyes. I'm not doing a big dramatic cut crease. I'm not doing a whole lot of effort. This is all about soft, blurred edges, no sharp lines. My favorite eyeshadow palette is actually an eyebrow/eyeshadow palette from Color Science. You've seen me use it a lot. I love that it's got all of these really simple, basic colors. So pull out whatever palette you love that has basic, nude, brown tones in matte. We're not doing any shimmer, everything's matte. I'm going in with the second to lightest, sort of a peachy, and I'm going all over on my lid on that. Just to sort of open up and brighten that eye. To just give it a little bit of depth, I'm going to use, this is a Sigma brush, and I have loved all of the information off of it. But it's part of a set, and it is not super cheap, but I have loved these brushes for years, so it's a one-time investment, and then you've got great brushes forever, and I'll drop the link down below. Or you use whatever brush works for you, because there is no absolute right brush. If you have a brush that you feel works for you, and no matter what it says on the brush, you like it, use it. Just clean it very often. If you see me looking down and like sort of wiping, I always, on my table where I'm doing my makeup, I usually spread out a paper towel so that I can just brush things off and clean them as I go, and then just toss that when I'm done. I'm gonna go in with this, I don't know, this medium color right here. And just a little bit right in the crease area, but I'm not doing a real dark dramatic look. It's just to give it a little bit of depth. Just following the natural curve right there. Just to give the eye a little bit of depth, but not a heavy dramatic look. It's always darker on this eye. Don't know why. Always, always, always. For an eyeliner, I'm not going to be going in with a liquid eyeliner. I'm not even going to be going in with a pencil. I'm going to use a very small brush. This is a little smudgy brush that also came with that same kit, but gosh, you could almost use a Q-tip. If you are somebody who likes pencils, You can use a pencil and then smudge it a whole lot. That works too, but the point is, you don't want a harsh line. We're just going to put a nice little deep smudge right against the lashes. And I'm going to use this dark tone right here. So you can see, not doing anything big and dramatic, it's just slightly accenting the lash line. One of the best ways to really open up your lashes is to use a lash curler. But a lot of times, I'm just too lazy, like today. The mascara I'm using is from Tarte Cosmetics. It's Lights, Camera, Lashes. And to apply your mascara, again, you're doing just a zigzagging motion from way at the base all the way up. I'm going to let that dry before I put anything on the bottom. Lipsticks are, again, a really, really personal choice. Some people like a liquid lipstick that's a very matte tone. I do find that can be a little aging. It looks terrific when you're 22, but when you're 52 or 62, it can start looking a little dry. So I think you want to find a lipstick that has a sheerness, that has some color, but has a little bit of gloss. Not glossy, but you do want to have moisture. You want it to look moist. This was sent to me by a company called Jaden Madison, and this lip gloss was designed for people who tend to, like me, chew their lipstick off. I will chew my lipstick off all day long. So this is nice because it doesn't taste good. So when you go, ugh. I mean, it doesn't taste really bad, but it's not tasty. It's a nice reminder. Now this is a pretty glossy gloss. I like that. It's not for everyone. Yeah, I got a little carried away going on the outer edges. I do that. Do as I say, not as I do. Eyebrows should never be neglected. I opted to have my eyebrows microbladed about 1.5 years ago, and I have been really, really happy with it because honestly, I wouldn't do anything with them. But since I don't want you to think I'm not doing anything with my eyebrows, they should always be attended to. I'm going to use the same palette and an angled brush. This I literally got at the art supply store in a kit of kids like brushes for 99 cents. And I'm going to go with really that same eyeshadow that I used, just that very soft sort of taupey, just to sort of give it a finish. I like to extend those edges a little bit and just deepen it right up there at the arch. Sometimes I use a pencil, but today I'm all about no edges and all softness. Lower lashes? Yes, we all make the faces on this. Soft, natural, demure makeup for a mature face. Thank you for watching. I love you bunches. I hope you have an awesome rest of your day.